Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So, as you did see my current Chelsea Manchester United preview I did earlier on for the FA Cup. Well, more things is currently updated in the media. So there's a lot of things to talk about on this video today. So as I said, if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe as always. But the first topic of the development today is in relation, to Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard. As I give you an update, a couple of days, obviously, they both came off injured against Paris Saint-Germain, just before half time. It has described that obviously they've both suffered some kind of muscular problem. I think, Jesse Lingard is a hamstring injury. Anthony Martial's is Anthony Martial's is a groin injury, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer I think has currently confirmed in the media that both of them, Martial and Jesse Lingard, are going to be out for Manchester United for up to 3 weeks. So I think it's up to 3 weeks. That Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard are going to be out, so they are going to miss the game on Monday against Chelsea in the FA Cup. I think they're also definitely going to miss Liverpool, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed. So they are going to miss the next few key matches. Are Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard, and it is a disappointment, to be quite honest with you, because I've been very, very impressed, with Jesse Lingard's progression. I think he's played very, very well, and I think he's always been a good player for Manchester United. But as I did say, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, I think his performances have really, really improved. He has that ability to attack, score, and provide. Does Jesse Lingard. So as I said, and he's been very, very impressive. And obviously, we know that he's one of our keepers. Is Jesse Lingard, because we know mainly under Solskjaer he has been first choice as Jesse Lingard over the likes of Juan Mata on that right hand side. And same, and he's very, very young in his generation, is Jesse Lingard. And, in relation to Anthony Martial as well, he's another player that's been, number one choice under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we know that he's been first choice over Alexis Sanchez, mainly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Anthony Martial, because he's very, very influential on that left-hand side. And same with him, he has that ability to attack, score, and provide, which he has definitely shown, since being a Manchester United player. But I think his performances have dramatically improved since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently come in. So yeah, it has been officially confirmed that Martial and Jesse Lingard are both, out for up to 2 or 3 weeks, as I currently said. It did say a couple of days ago that we're going to be assessed in the next couple of days. So I don't think I don't think it's actually too serious. But obviously, they're out for 2 to 3 weeks, so they are going to be a big miss, as I currently said. So Solskjaer's obviously going to rotate the squad, a little bit differently, on Monday against Chelsea, considering that Martial's out on that left hand side, Jesse Lingard's out on that right. They are our 2 wide men, as I currently said. So it's probably more than likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will probably Sanchez into contention. He'll probably give him a start on Monday, with Martial, currently injured. He probably may give Romelu Lukaku a start, may even start Juan Mata on that right hand side, unless he starts Marcus Rashford and puts Rashford out wide instead of putting Rashford centrally, as I currently said. But yeah, it is very, very disappointing, with a big game coming up against Chelsea in the FA Cup on Monday. But obviously it was PSG, they both came off. Obviously that summed up our night as well. Paul Pogba getting sent off as well, so he's going to miss obviously the second leg against Paris Saint-Germain. But obviously it doesn't affect him in the Premier League, with that sending off, because obviously that was in the Champions League, got sent off. So more than likely he'll be in contention, to start on Monday against Chelsea. But Pogba's been very, very influential as well, and Pogba's been playing very, very well, for Manchester United. He's been getting that freedom to express himself, and he looks really, really good in that number 10 position, just behind the centre forward. I think his breaks box to box are good. I think the timing of his runs have been fantastic, especially in the Premier League, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think his time of his runs has been good. I think he's been playing them delicate passes as Paul Pogba, and he's all, he's been scoring and providing as Paul Pogba, as I said. It's been very, very good as Paul Pogba, and his performances have been very, very impressive indeed. And he's obviously been one of our, most influential players, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, because obviously, Solskjaer has currently rejuvenated Paul Pogba's form. But as I did say, hopefully, Manchester United, we can hopefully get back to winning ways, against Chelsea on Monday, as I currently said, because it was a disappointing result, on Tuesday night, against Paris Saint-Germain. We didn't show that fluidity, in attack, that we have been seeing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We lacked that intensity. We were struggling to break Paris Saint-Germain down, as I currently said. But it was a very, very poor first half, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, very, very poor for them. Mbappe looked very, very isolated, and considering that going into that game, PSG, had quite a few of their, main stars out. They had Cavani out with a hip injury. They had Neymar out, with a broken foot, and he's long-term absence as well as Neymar. I think he's out for them up to 10 weeks. So obviously PSG invested a lot of money on. They've got Thomas Muller out, with a concussion as well. So I thought Manchester United, would have won that game on Tuesday night. To be quite honest with you, considering that PSG had quite a few injuries. Obviously, Verratti's a very, very good player, and he's just recently recovered from injury as well. But in that game, it was a 2-0 defeat. But there was a lot of challenges. A lot of fouls in the game, a lot of bookings as well. But I said as soon as Jesse Lingard, and Anthony Martial came off, I think it killed the momentum of the team, because you can see when them two came off through injury that that bags of pace has currently been knocked out of the team, as I currently said. And obviously, in relation to Juan Mata, he could actually start against his former club on Monday. Juan Mata, I do think Juan Mata's a very, very consistent player, to be quite honest with you. But as I did say, he's 30 years of age now. He's obviously a lot older in his generation, than Jesse Lingard and all that, and Anthony Martial is Juan Mata. And I think he's too slow now, is Juan Mata. I think he's lost the art of pace, to be quite honest with you, as Juan Mata. Of course, Manchester United, have been in talks with, getting him a 1-year extension on his current contract. Obviously, we're not willing to offer him a long-term contract extension, considering that he is age 30. I think he's keen on a 2-year deal. He's Juan Mata. Of course, he's been in the Premier League a lot of years. This was including his 3 years he had with Chelsea as well. And of course, he's won everything apart from the Premier League as Juan Mata. And he's been here since 2014. So he's been here nearly 5 years now as Juan Mata, as I said. And he has made over 200 odd appearances. And I still think he's a very, very good, consistent player. But we know mainly he hasn't been first choice under Solskjaer. But now with the injury of Lingard, Mata, could fulfill that spot, on that right hand side until Lingard, recovers from injury. Unless he rotates it and maybe puts Rashford out wide instead of playing Rashford essentially. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. But we will find out on Monday. Yeah, United had been in talks of getting him a new 1-year extension. There were a few teams that were interested in Juan Mata in January. It did say, Barcelona were interested. It did say Arsenal had made inquiries as well, because obviously when Juan Mata was a lot younger in his prime, when Juan Mata was a lot younger in his prime, he played under Rainray at Valencia, for 4 seasons. Actually had a lot of experience of playing in Spain, when he was a lot younger in his prime, Juan Mata, as I currently said. But I think he did admit before, Juan Mata, that he did currently miss Spain. So, yeah. But, yeah, we have been in talks of getting him a new 1-year extension on his deal. And in relation to Sanchez, it's more than likely he will be in contention to start against Chelsea on Monday, Alexis Sanchez. And he's a player that's really, really been disappointing, since he's come to United. There's been rumours going on in the media in relation to Alexis Sanchez, saying that reportedly there's been talks saying that he could actually make a shock return to Arsenal. To be quite honest with you, I don't think Arsenal will take Sanchez back anywhere, to be quite honest with you, because obviously Sanchez has been at Manchester United, just over a year now. Obviously it was a swap deal, with Sanchez and Mkhitaryan, I couldn't know, but Sanchez has really, really failed to impress, and when he has had the opportunity under Solskjaer, which he hasn't been often, because we know Martial and the likes of Rashford and Lingard, that attacking trio have obviously mainly been the first choice under Solskjaer. But when Sanchez has had the opportunity, I think he's been very, very poor, to be quite honest with you. Failed to establish himself. He's suffered, quite a few injuries as Alexis Sanchez, as I currently said. And obviously we want to see the best out of Sanchez, because he's on over £1 million a week, of course. But he has failed to impress. And as I said, when he does get more opportunities under Solskjaer, if his performances, don't improve, Alexis Sanchez, I could maybe see him, leaving Manchester United in the summer, to be quite honest with you. And Sanchez is aging up now. He's 30 years of age. He's lost that yard of pace as Sanchez. There's areas of his game he does need to adapt, but he's nowhere near the player that he currently was at Arsenal. But he's Premier League proven, but he's nowhere near the player that he was at Arsenal. Sanchez, and obviously Sanchez and Mata, them two wide players could be in contention to start against Chelsea, because Martial's injured now, with a groin injury. Lingard's got a hamstring injury, which is very, very disappointing to see, to be quite honest with you. But and in relation to Lukaku, he could be in contention, to start at Chelsea on Monday, Romelu Lukaku, because Lukaku, as I said, maybe a lot of United fans think Lukaku's finished. But to be quite honest with you, in relation, to Romelu Lukaku, I think his form has been slightly rejuvenated, Romelu Lukaku's. His form has been slightly rejuvenated, to be quite honest with you. But obviously in his first season with Manchester United, he scored 27 goals in all competitions. And throughout his playing career in the Premier League, he has scored a lot of goals. Romelu Lukaku, he can score goals, but as I did say, he's too slow. His first touch, does concern a lot of people. And we know mainly he hasn't been first choice Lukaku. Obviously we know Rashford is obviously obviously our number one, our main number 9, because obviously Rashford's obviously younger, and plus what Rashford can offer up front, Lukaku cannot do, is because Rashford's got pace, he can press out the pitch, he can score loads of goals, which he has been doing under Solskjaer. So he has been playing a key role under Solskjaer, Rashford, and he has been scoring. His finishing's improved as well, so he has now got that end product as Marcus Rashford, and to be quite honest with you. So I do think he's really, really improving, and he's been in United player since the age of 7, progressed up the ranks, fantastically well as Marcus Rashford. He's progressed up the ranks fantastically well as Marcus Rashford, as I currently said, and he's been in the senior squad with United since 2016. So hopefully somewhere along the line, Manchester United, can get him a new long-term deal. I think if we can get in this new long-term deal, we are obviously willing. Willing, to more than double his wages as well. But I think he can play out wide, but I think he looks, a lot more better, when he's playing in a central position, Marcus Rashford, in my opinion. But United have been in talks of getting him a new long-term deal as well. But for Chelsea on Monday, Jesse Lingard, and Martial, them out wide, the pace they bring to the team, they can score goals, they can provide, they've got that ability to attack, as I said, they've got that ability to play balls as well. They're going to be big miss for Chelsea on Monday, as I said. Instead, we're going to have to, probably put 2 lethargic players on each flank, which is Sanchez, who's slow now, Mata's slow now. So, as I did say, Rashford, we'll still probably play Rashford up there, as I currently said. Maybe Lukaku may even get the start. There's been talks of maybe even Lukaku starting, as I said. But if we start Lukaku centrally, which I don't want to see happen, but it could happen if we start Lukaku centrally, put Sanchez on the left, Mata on the right, there's just no pace there in our attacking line unless, as I did say, rotates it, maybe gives Rashford a chance on the left or the right instead of putting him centrally, as I said. But he will rotate it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I currently said. But Solskjaer did come out in the press saying that basically, he did admit that PSG were on another level. He did admit, there are mountains there to be climbed, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say. But he did say it's a club, we need to bounce back. Solskjaer said we need to bounce back. This is a club, that needs to bounce back, and this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. But in relation, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I do keep saying, I think, he's the right man for Manchester United, as we all know. As reports have been coming out, recently in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, saying that reportedly he will be named Manchester United manager on a full-time basis. With his fantastic progression he's done so far since he's come to the team. And obviously the board and that do believe he can elevate this team forward. He can get us into that commanding position, that we do want to be in. Obviously, Solskjaer's going to have a say in the summer on a new additions, coming into the club, because reports have been coming out in the last week or two, obviously, that Manchester United are going to get around £200 million to spend in the summer. Obviously, we didn't invest in the January transfer window, but obviously, we're all aware, that investment is needed in the Manchester United team, because obviously, we do need, and it did say, obviously, the board has made a decision that reportedly now Solskjaer is the number one, but we know for a long time, that obviously Mauricio Pochettino was obviously, Ed Woodward's number one target. But as I did say, I would prefer definitely to keep Solskjaer on. I'd prefer to, Solskjaer to get the job on a full-time basis rather than us recommending Pochettino, because Pochettino has done a really, really good job with Tottenham, no doubt about it. He only recently signed a 5-year deal last summer with Tottenham as well, did Mauricio Pochettino. But in terms of Silva, Pochettino has not won out as manager in terms of Silva, and he has been at Tottenham, this is his 5th season now. He's got a good record with Tottenham. He's succeeding with them in the Champions League well. He's, they're still in with a shout, for the title this season at Tottenham. As I said, he had a good record when he was at Southampton as well. So he has been managing now 10 years because, he started managing in 2009. Pochettino and Tottenham have only spent, £50 million since 2014. So the transfer policy's been very, very poor, since Pochettino, got recommended in. But he's good at growing and developing young players, he's Pochettino. And he's done a really, really good job with Tottenham. And obviously, Tottenham are still awaiting, for their new stadium to come. But as I did say, it would cost, whatever team's interested in hiring Pochettino, and it would cost, around 40-50 million pounds to recommend, Pochettino, to come to Old Trafford. But either way, I don't think he's got any intentions of leaving Tottenham anyway. I think he's happy at Tottenham, and I think he feels somewhere along the line, he can achieve silverware, with Tottenham in the future. But first, maybe Tottenham do need a couple of signings, maybe in the summer, if they are going to potentially, start challenging for titles and, winning other honours as well. But they are still in there with a shout this season at Tottenham. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously at the moment, Manchester United, of course, have paid, 1.8 million, obviously, to get him on a temporary basis, Solskjaer. Obviously, if we are to get him on a full-time basis at the end of the season, which is looking likely now, according to the media, what the media said last week, we'll have to pay an additional probably £7-8 million, to get him a full-time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I currently said. But he'd love the job as Manchester United manager on a full-time basis, as we all currently know, because he knows everything about the club, the Solskjaer. In terms of silverware, he's won trophies as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He won it as a player, for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, when he was managing the Man United reserve team. So previously, before he was Man United manager, just now, obviously he's had bits of managerial experience. He didn't do so well with Cardiff City. He got Cardiff relegated, so didn't do really, really well there. Mould had a bad defensive record there, but still won, two Norwegian titles, with Mould as well. And obviously, when he was managing the Man United reserve team, he watched this team now, he watched some of the players grow and develop. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah, I do think he's the right man for the job at Manchester United, because he's done so good so far with United. Obviously we know we've suffered his first defeat now under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tenure, but it's only one defeat. We can bounce back from this defeat. I do have concerns, that Lingard and Martial are going to be out for Monday. As I currently said, but as I did currently say, I do believe that this team can re-emerge as a dominant force, and get us back winning trophies on a regular basis, as I currently said, like we did do under Alex Ferguson for 26, 27 years. But of course, we all know that investment is needed in the summer, and reportedly we're going to get around £200 million. And I have identified, some of the key areas we need to strengthen up. We definitely need a strong central defender. I think we're thinking about as well getting someone on that right hand side, and probably we need a centre defensive midfielder, that's fast and tenacious. So there's quite a few areas in the team that does need addressing and does need sorting out, as I currently said. And we have got the financial power, to get about 4 players in the summer, because we do expect players to leave Manchester United as well in the summer as well. And obviously we're still looking to hire a director of football to come in. As I said, I think as I did say, said about 3 or 4 weeks ago, that Ed Woodward, as showed, there's been a few candidates mentioned. As I said, the last time I heard about it, Paul Mitchell was mentioned. Andrea Beretta, however you pronounce his name, was mentioned as well. I think the Inter Milan director was mentioned as well. So there has been quite a few in relation to director of football. There has been quite a few names mentioned, as I currently said. But yeah, under Solskjaer, we went 11 undefeated, obviously before we lost to Paris Saint-Germain. But as it stands now, we've still, how many games have we won in the Premier League under Solskjaer? We've won 8 in the league. We've played 12 now. Is it 12 now? Is it? Yeah, it's 12. We've won 10 out of 12 in all competitions, as we all know. We have won 8 in the league. We've done well away from home as well under Solskjaer. We've won 6 away from home in all competitions. We have scored 28 goals, which has been very, very impressive indeed. And defensively, I think we've improved under Solskjaer as well. But I still think the structure of the team's right, the cohesion of the team's right, and he has got us playing that brand of football we played under Fergie. I do think he's got us playing in the right vein, the right manner, and I think his managerial style, totally suits the club. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, as I said. So yeah, it's likely he will get the job on a full-time basis. It won't be officially announced anyway, until the end of the season. So we'll see what happens. But I have concerns going into Monday, with the injuries of Lingard and Anthony Martial, as I clearly said. So you will rotate a bit. But other players, I've been very, very impressed with, especially since Solskjaer's coming. I think Herrera's made a massive, massive impact since Solskjaer's coming, and I hope somewhere along the line, we can get Ander Herrera a new deal at Manchester United, because I think especially, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, I think Ander Herrera's performances have improved, and I do think Ander Herrera's always been a very, very consistent player, for Manchester United, and to be quite honest with you, since we got him in 2014 from Atletico Bilbao, I think his current deal ends in the summer. I think we have been in negotiations of getting him a new contract, and I hope we do. And based on his fantastic performances, I think he deserves it, Ander Herrera, because I think his performances have been very, very good indeed of Ander Herrera's. As I did say, I think he's complementing our midfield well alongside Matic and Paul Pogba, and I think Herrera's really, really good at breaking up the play, as I currently said. So he deserves a new contract, based on his performances, and he's played a big part in the team since Solskjaer's come in. He's playing more regularly from the start as well. So I have been very, very impressed, with Herrera. I've been impressed with Matic as well. Matic, I know he's very, very slow, and I have strong reservations, about Nemanja Matic. So this is why I did say we need to recommend to get a centre defensive midfielder in, as I did say, that's fast and tenacious, because Matic, has improved, to be fair, especially in the Premier League, since Solskjaer's come in. I think his distribution's improved. I do think he's starting to become a good ball playing midfielder now since Solskjaer's come in, but, I do think he's slow, to be quite honest with you, his Matic, but his distribution's improved, he's galloping forward more, he's getting more involved, his passing's improved as well, but he is still very, very slow, is the Nemanja Matic, as we are more. And obviously that's Solskjaer's number one choice of midfield, Herrera, Matic and Pogba, because they are a great trio in that midfield, and they look very, very effective in that midfield, Herrera, Matic and Pogba. And I've been impressed with the majority of the team, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming as I said. I think Victor Lindelof's made a massive, impact, especially this season. I think his performances this season anyway have been very, very good, but Victor Lindelof, his distribution's improved. He's been forward more, Victor Lindelof. Obviously, the player we got from Benfica, but I think he's really, really improved as Victor Lindelof, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And he's showing that he's determined, to get forward more, get more involved. He's willing to play out from the back, is Victor Lindelof. So his performances have really, really improved this season. I've been very, very impressed with him. And I think him and Bay, complement each other fantastically well, even though Bay's been in and out of the season. But I think Bay's got really, really great potential, as I said. And I think now, as it stands, more often, Solskjaer's going to go with Eric Bay and obviously, Victor Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, because they are bonding well together now. They are starting to blend in well together now, as I said. And obviously, they're very, very strong together. And I think they're on Lindelof and Bay are definitely on another level, to Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. And Phil Jones and Smalling, Jones can sometimes he gets them run of games. He's obviously injury prone as well as Phil Jones. He's been one of the longest servants, since he's been one of the longest serving players, Phil Jones, since he's been here. I think he's been here since 2011, when we got him from Blackburn. But, to be quite honest with you, I don't really rate him anymore, to be quite honest with you, Jones. So even though we just recently signed him a new contract, I still want him to leave in the summer. Chris Smalling, again, he's nowhere near on the same level either. He's been here, this is his 9th season now with Manchester United, Chris Smalling. He signed a new deal earlier on in the season as well. Now, I don't really rate Chris Smalling anymore, as I currently said. So this is why I've been saying that we do need a strong central defender, alongside Lindelof or Eric Bay, because I think a strong central, we need an experienced centre-back, alongside Lindelof and Eric Bay, as I currently said. But there's definitely areas, in Manchester United squad, where we do need to currently address, as I currently said. But going into this Chelsea game, we obviously know how much of a difficult game this is going to be. Going into this Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge. But considering Chelsea did get back to winning ways in the Europa League yesterday against Malmo, Chelsea did win by 2-1. Because recently in the league, Chelsea have been in a bad run of form, especially away from home. They haven't really been that good away from home this season, especially against teams. This season they've lost at the Emirates 2-0. They lost at Tottenham 3-1. They lost at Tottenham 3-1. They lost at the Emirates. They got absolutely annihilated at Manchester City, by 6-0 as well. Did Chelsea. So the away from home, Chelsea have been pretty poor. They got destroyed at Bournemouth, by 4-0 as well. But at home, Chelsea aren't that bad at home, to be quite honest. I think the home record, pretty decent, to be quite honest. Because at home this season, Chelsea did beat at home Arsenal earlier on in the season. That was the second game of the season, was it? They beat Arsenal 3-2. They actually beat Manchester City at home earlier on in the season as well, did Chelsea. I think they drew with Liverpool at home. They, of course, they drew with us at home as well. They scored in the 96th minute in that game, did Chelsea as well. But going into the game, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. It's FA Cup 5th round, as we all know. Manchester United and Chelsea have played each other a lot of times in the FA Cup, to be quite honest with you. There's been, we've played, Man United have played Chelsea on quite a few numerous occasions in the FA Cup, as I currently said. I think Chelsea have got some minor injuries as well. I think Danny Drinkwater hasn't played for Chelsea all season. I think Gary Cahill, of course, is he injured, Gary Cahill? Yeah, I think he's got a minor injury. So too, obviously, Marco Van Ginkel is out for the season for Chelsea. He's obviously their long-term absence. Gary Cahill, Danny Drinkwater. Who's the other one who's injured? Gary Cahill, Danny Drinkwater. So Gary Cahill's out. Well, I think he's got an injury. Danny Drinkwater's out. Marco Van Ginkel's out for the season for Chelsea. I think they've got a couple of minor injuries, to be quite honest here, but they are not too serious, to be quite honest here. But his progression in the FA Cup, Manchester United, has been very, very good so far, and obviously we're sitting in the top four, now for the first time, since the opening day of the season. When obviously Solskjaer came in, Manchester United, were 11 points behind top four. But obviously our objective this season is to get in that top four, obviously, and obviously, to try and succeed in the FA Cup, as I currently said. But from a Chelsea point of view, obviously they're really, really good at home. As I currently said, they're not too bad at home, to be quite honest here. But we've done well so far in the FA Cup. Beating Reading in the third round 2-0. Obviously, it wasn't a great performance, but obviously Solskjaer went with an 11. That's never played together as 11. So he did put a lot of fringe players out. Obviously, in the fourth round we progressed very, very well against Arsenal at the Emirates as well. Won comfortably by 3-1 in that game. Surprisingly, scored. Lukaku got 2 of the assists for 2 of the goals as well. Lingard scored and Anthony Martial scored in that game. So that was a very, 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 very good attacking performance, against Arsenal, as I currently said. So hopefully somewhere along the line we can get back to winning ways against Chelsea on Monday, as I said. Obviously Chelsea, as reports have been coming out as well in relation, to Maurizio Sarri, that reported I think the pressure is mounting up on Sarri, considering their recent bad run of form, Chelsea's, because obviously, as I did say, they got hammered at City. They got hammered at City. They got obviously, they got hammered at City. They got hammered against Bournemouth as well. So they haven't really been that good away from home, as I could have said. But it's only Maurizio Sarri's first season, as a Chelsea manager. It's only his first season. But reports have been coming out, according, to Roman Abramovich. Reportedly, I think he currently said if Chelsea do not qualify for Champions League this season, obviously if they don't get in the top four, that Maurizio Sarri could possibly be sacked as Chelsea manager. Because as I did say, Chelsea are known for sacking a lot of managers in a short period of time, which I've already explained to you earlier on. But as I said, it's only his first season. As I currently said, is Maurizio Sarri's. Hasn't won out yet in terms of silverware as manager, and he was discussing, was it weeks ago? He was discussing about mentality, motivation. He was talking about mentality and motivation and all that. Was Maurizio Sarri. But obviously Chelsea, obviously did get they got Gonzalo Higuain in January. They obviously got Pulisic, but he's been loaned back to Borussia Dortmund. But as I did say, he will be officially a Chelsea player next season, because Chelsea agreed a £58 million fee with Borussia Dortmund. But Chelsea have still, got problems of their own, of course, because obviously they've got problems of their own with Chelsea, because they could see other players leave in the summer. Obviously Gary Cahill could leave in the summer because he's constantly being left out of the team as Cahill. David Luiz has yet to sign a new contract extension with Chelsea. Of course, he's aging up. Obviously Chelsea will be disappointed that they didn't find a replacement for Fabregas in January as well. So obviously Chelsea will be planning to try and get a replacement for Fabregas in the summer as well. Potentially they maybe still need a fullback as well, the Chelsea. And in relation, to Eden Hazard as well, he's another likely player, that could leave Chelsea as well, Eden Hazard, because there has been a lot of speculation going on behind making a move to Real Madrid in the summer, as reports have been coming out saying that it had been that he'd made a decision, Eden Hazard, on his current future with Chelsea, and he actually reported and basically said that he didn't publicly announce it. I think he privately announced it, but he did say, I think he's expected to Chelsea, wants to join Madrid in the summer. I think he's too good for Chelsea, in my opinion, Eden Hazard. But obviously now he should start, hitting a run of form again, Eden Hazard, because obviously now he's been put back in his favourite position on the left-hand side. This is due to obviously the Higuain, obviously Chelsea getting Higuain, but obviously before Higuain went into Chelsea, obviously Eden Hazard was playing in a false number 9 position, as we all currently know. Eden Hazard was playing in a false number 9 position, but obviously that's why he wasn't in good form, because that's obviously not his favourite role. But obviously now he's on that left-hand side. But Eden Hazard did say last summer after the World Cup that he did basically want to leave Chelsea. Chelsea have been in the process of trying to get him a new contract, because his current deal ends in 2020, but there's been no progression in contract negotiations. But I think Chelsea were willing to offer him around £300,000 a week, because obviously Chelsea he's one of their most essential players. Obviously is Eden Hazard. He's been at Chelsea since 2012. This is his 7th season with Chelsea as Eden Hazard. Of course, he's won everything in English football. He's made over 300 odd appearances, scored over 100 odd goals as Eden Hazard, and Chelsea know how much of an influential player player Eden Hazard is. But I think it'll cost Real Madrid around £100 million, maybe more, to get Hazard in the summer, as I currently said. So if he does leave in the summer, obviously, Chelsea will obviously want a replacement for him. But obviously, I think the only chance Chelsea have got of keeping Eden Hazard is if they get into the top four, or of course, succeed in the Europa League, so they do get automatic Champions League qualification, for the next season, as I said. But obviously, Chelsea going for the top four this season under Maurizio Sarri. Obviously, that's their objective. And obviously, Sarri, he has got an attacking philosophy. His system, worked, when he was Napoli manager, did Maurizio Sarri's. But he did discuss before about, mentality and motivation and all that. Did Maurizio Sarri, as I currently said. So yeah, Chelsea could see quite a few of their players, leave in the summer. So obviously they'll currently want replacements, as I said. But they've got Higuain up front. I think will guarantee them goals. As I said, he's age 31 now. But now is Gonzalo Higuain. He is age 31 now. Don't forget. He's obviously he's aging up. He's Gonzalo Higuain. He's obviously out of his prime. But throughout his playing career, he's scored a lot of goals. As Gonzalo Higuain. He knows Sarri. Sarri knows him, as I said. And obviously, when he was a lot younger in his prime, he was very, very good at Napoli. And that's when Sarri was there, and he scored 36 goals in one season with Napoli. And he did good in his 6 years with Real Madrid as well. And he did good in his couple of years, that he had with Juventus as well. Gonzalo Higuain didn't really do well at AC Milan, but obviously Chelsea, got him on loan. It's likely they could make the deal permanent in the summer by paying £30 million. But it's likely that Chelsea could actually, develop the loan into a further 12 months. They'd have to pay a fee, I think, to develop the loan into a further 12 months. They'd have to pay an initial fee of around 16 million, as I could have said. But I can't really comment on what he's done so far with Chelsea, because I haven't really, watched him play, to be quite honest with you, Gonzalo Higuain. But Chelsea, they've still got problems of their own, but they did get back to winning ways yesterday against Malmo in the Europa League, as I currently said. As I currently said. So yeah, it's going to be a big game.
Have you done your bottom sheet?
Yeah, no, I haven't done my sheet, no.
Well, why don't you just do your bottom sheet?
I can't do it.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, get off bed, I'll do it.
Just do it soon.
No, do it.
Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, just doing something there. As I was saying, yes, big game on Monday. Like that. As I currently said, it's going to be a big game on Monday. But obviously we lost the final last season, the FA Cup, to Chelsea. They obviously won they won it by 1-0. It was Eden Hazard goal from the penalty spot. Of course, Chelsea did actually progress to the FA Cup final the season before, but they did lose to Arsenal in the final. Was that by 2-1? I can remember rightly. But obviously we haven't got a good record at Stamford Bridge. Obviously I haven't won there since 2012. So basically we haven't won there, since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we lost there last season in the league 1-0. We did beat them at home 2-1. We lost there a couple of seasons ago 4-0 as well. So we haven't got the best of records at Stamford Bridge. But obviously Chelsea, of course, will be focusing on their Carabao Cup final, game against Manchester City. Is that Sunday, the 24th of February. So that is obviously the same day, Manchester United, of course, Liverpool, as I said. So we haven't got a great record at Stamford Bridge, as I said. But we are still capable of beating them. We have got that quality in the team, that could cause Chelsea all sorts of problems. But the players we've got to watch out for, obviously, is Higuain, Eden Hazard. He's very, very influential on the left-hand side. And I still think, Eden Hazard is the third best player in the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt. But Chelsea at home this season haven't been too bad. As I said, they progressed against Tottenham in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. They beat Tottenham at home then. They beat Arsenal at home this season, as I said earlier on. They beat Manchester City at home. It's just away from home, Chelsea have been quite poor, to be quite honest here. But obviously Chelsea are going to be the favourites going into the game, considering one, they're at home. Two, we've got, two key players out for the game as well. And Martial and Lingard are going to be a huge miss for Chelsea. Then we've got Liverpool in the league, so they're going to be miss for that game as well. So yeah, it's very, very, I'm really really annoyed about it, to be quite honest with you, that they're out for up to 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that they're out for I think it's 2 to 3 weeks. You know, Lingard and Martial are currently out. But obviously, as I was saying earlier on, obviously investment is needed in the team, as we're all aware of. As I've already identified you know, the key positions where United do need to currently strengthen up. I said a new central defender, someone on that right hand side, because obviously on that right hand side, as I did say, I do think potentially we do need a right back, to be quite honest. I know we've got Diego a lot, but he's only 19 years of age, and I do think we need another right back there as well. You know, as I clearly said, because obviously Ashley Young is obviously been our first choice right back, you know, especially this season. When Young was younger, obviously was mainly right winger, but as I said, in relation to Ashley Young, we've just signed him a new 1 year extension on his contract. I think he has passed it now, you know, to be quite honest with you. So Ashley Young is probably on his way out in Manchester United. He could still potentially, you know, leave Man United in the summer. He's obviously been one of the longest servants, you know, at Man United. He's been here, of course, since 2011. Of course, he's won everything in English football here as well as Ashley Young. But I do think he's past it now, to be quite honest with you. It's same with Antonio Valencia. He's another player I think could more than likely leave Manchester United in the summer as well. Antonio Valencia, because he's been one of the longest servants at United. He's been here since 2009 as Antonio Valencia. So this is what his 10th season now, is it, with Manchester United? Obviously, he's hardly been in the team this season, Antonio Valencia, as we all currently know, because he's obviously had a couple of injuries. He's just sustained another injury as well as Antonio Valencia, so he's out for a couple of weeks, Valencia, but he's likely he could leave Manchester United in the summer, as I said. And there was speculation about, you know, Antonio Valencia, you know, leaving, you know, in the January window, but it didn't happen. So in my opinion, we do need someone on that right hand side. And also, too, you know, in relation to Matteo Darmian, you know, he's another player that's just, you know, he's just suffered another injury, so he's out for a few weeks alongside Valencia. You know, Matteo Darmian, he's endured a very, very difficult time, you know, since he's come to Manchester United, you know, to be quite honest with you, as Matteo Darmian. Obviously, Darmian, you know, struggled to, you know, to become a regular in the team. You know, he hasn't played that often since he's been a Manchester United player, and there was actually speculation of him leaving throughout the course of the January window, but it didn't happen. But if the offers do come in the summer, you know, we can cash in for the player because we've extended his current deal contract by a further year, Matteo Darmian's as well. And in relation to Rojo, I think he's just recently, you know, central defender, he's just recently returned back to training, but he's still unfit, and, you know, he's endured a very, very difficult time, you know, since he's come to Manchester United. You know, Marcus Rojo struggled with his fitness regime, you know, struggled to get a run of games under his belt, as I said, as Marcus Rojo. Due to that, he's he's actually suffered a lot of injuries as Rojo. So could he leave in the summer as well? Because I think he's good there as a backup option, is Marcus Rojo. But obviously he's you know, sustained a lot of injuries, you know, since he's been at Manchester United, as I currently said. As I currently said, but as it did come out in the media, you know, the other day, I want to keep you up to date on, as I did give you an update. This is obviously in relation to Ed Woodward. It did reportedly say that Ed Woodward had identified four main summer transfer targets, reportedly. And reportedly he's ready to splash out the cash in the summer. And these four main summer targets, you know, had been mentioned. Koulibaly, who was obviously the number one main priority target. Another one got mentioned, which was Lucas Hernandez, Atletico Madrid, got mentioned as well. Nikola Milkovic from Fiorentina got mentioned. Douglas Costa from Juventus got mentioned as well. So Manchester United, you know, could go out, you know, for them players in the summer, because Ed Woodward has identified, you know, four main summer targets. But obviously, we know the number one is obviously, you know, Koulibaly, as I said. And obviously, United obviously want an experienced centre-back who's got good physical attributes and can go forward, who can play good passes, who's got a lot of tenacity about the play as well. And, you know, Koulibaly has got all of this, as I said. He's obviously still got a contract with Napoli till 2023, as Koulibaly. As I said, he's got a contract to 2023. Financially, Napoli will make a lot of money on the player, even though he has been there a number of years, you know, Koulibaly, because Napoli only paid £7 million for him when he was at Genk. This is obviously when he was young in his prime, you know, Koulibaly. But as I did say, Man United have been linked to him for the past couple of windows. past couple of windows, Man United have obviously held negotiations. Man United in the process so far have obviously, had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. The recent one obviously, was a staggering £95 million. But as reports do emerge and explain, saying that it will cost us in the region of probably £90 million or just under, to get Koulibaly in the summer. Because obviously we wanted to get him in January, but I think that the Napoli president and the Napoli board were being ruthless and they weren't willing, to sanction him off throughout the course of the January transfer window. But Koulibaly, it'd be a fantastic signing for us. It'd be good alongside Lindelof and Eric Bailly because Koulibaly's got everything. He has very, very little weaknesses about his game. I don't think he's got any weaknesses about his game, to be quite honest with you. But he is the number one priority target, for the summer. And also too, that this Lucas Hernandez, Atletico Madrid player, only very, very young in his prime. He's 23 years of age. Well, he's just actually turned 23 as this Lucas Hernandez. He plays for Atletico Madrid. As reports do explain, he's got a release clause of around 75 million pounds. This Lucas Hernandez. To be quite honest with you, this Lucas Hernandez, I've actually never heard of the player. So I saw his name get mentioned in the media, but reportedly he's got a release clause around 70 million. I think he's uncertain about his Atletico Madrid future because obviously he actually began his career with Atletico Madrid. I did Lucas Hernandez. He began his career with them, as I said. Since he's been at Atletico Madrid, though, he's won the UEFA Super Cup. He has won the Europa League with them as well as this Lucas Hernandez. But of course, he's only 23 years of age. He can actually play as a left back. He can actually operate as a central defender as well. But his name got mentioned on the radar as well, this Lucas Hernandez. We know also too this Nikola Milkovic as well got mentioned as well. He's only very, very young. I think he's only 21 years of age. Is this Nikola Milkovic? I heard about this, was it sometime last year? I heard about Nikola Milkovic. He's 21. I think he's valued at around 30 odd million pounds. Is this Nikola Milkovic? But he can actually play as central defender. He can actually play on the right hand side as well. And obviously we're looking, to address that right hand side, as I did say earlier, because Ashley Young's on his aging up and he's only got a couple of years left of his playing career. Valencia, he's likely to leave in the summer as well. So we do need someone, as a backup, for Diego Dalot on that as a right in that right back position, because Dalot's only 19 years of age, hasn't really got the experience at the moment, Diego Dalot. So we could do, with another right back, to be quite honest with you. And this player, he's Serbian, I think, this Nikola Milkovic, and he can actually play as a central defender, as I said, and he can play as a right back as well. So do you think he'd be beneficial? We know that also too, Douglas Costa has been mentioned in the media as well. Obviously, he's mainly a winger, he's Douglas Costa. And obviously, Douglas Costa this season has enjoyed a very, very difficult time, where with Juventus as Douglas Costa. He's enjoyed a difficult season with Juventus so far this season as Douglas Costa, because obviously, since the arrival of Ronaldo last summer, Douglas Costa has found, game time hard this season at Juventus. But I think throughout his playing career, he's been a very, very good player. His dribbling's good. He can put crosses into the box as well, can Douglas Costa. And reports have been coming out saying that Manchester United, could make a move for Douglas Costa in the summer report. He is Brazilian, don't forget. He is 28 years of age, so he is highly experienced, is Douglas Costa. And Juventus may be open to sell him in the summer. Obviously, throughout, he was on a one-year loan with Juventus, was it last season sometime? But obviously, Juventus made the deal permanent this season, because Juventus obviously paid £36 million last summer, to make the deal permanent. But he did say he could be available for £53 million in the summer. There was a narrative about this, last year, that Man United had showed an interest in Douglas Costa. It did say allegedly Manchester United had a £54 million bid turned down of Costa. But I do think he's got good physical attributes. He has got that ability to attack and provide and score goals, as they say, Douglas Costa, because throughout his playing career, he's scored goals. He's won trophies as well. When he was young in his prime, I thought he had 5 good years with Shakhtar Donetsk, and he had a good couple of years, with Bayern Munich and all that. In his first season with Juventus, he stood out very, very well as well. But this season, obviously, he's fallen down the pecking order, behind Cristiano Ronaldo as Douglas Costa. But yeah, it did say Manchester United could make a move in the summer, because reportedly it did say, like, to Twitter post, linking him with a summer move to Old Trafford, Douglas Costa. So them 4 have been mentioned on Ed Woodward's summer transfer target. So it did say Ed Woodward has identified 4 main summer targets, and them names I've just said to you are there. They are the 4 main summer targets we could go for in the summer, as it does currently explain. But there's been a few other players we've been interested in as well. well. We know that Benfica youngster, Felix, there's been, talks about him in the media as well. Felix, as I said. Reports are saying now that Real Madrid and Barcelona are interested in Felix, but reportedly will cost up to £100 million, to get him in the summer. But there was a narrative about this, throughout the course of the January transfer window. Obviously that a few teams had expressed their interest in this Felix. Reportedly, he did say his buyout clause is around £105 million. Is this Felix? So his buyout clause is around £105 million. Man United have actually instructed scouts, to keep a closer eye on the player. He only broke into the Benfica first team, last year, but reportedly, since he's broken into the first team, reportedly his performances have been very, very good. This Felix, reportedly. But as I did say, he's yet to make his senior debut for Portugal. It did say back in January, as I've already said to you, that Liverpool had around the £61 million bid turned down for Felix as well. So he's a potential player, that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in as well. And I've been discussing with you the number of players, that Manchester United, could go for in the summer. Obviously, we can afford to spend big in the summer because obviously we didn't invest in the January window. Obviously, we spent a lot of money when Mourinho was here. We spent £400 million when Jose Mourinho was here. We spent £700-800 million, since currently Alex Ferguson's retired. But we've seen players come in, we've seen players go, as I currently said. But yeah, I've already gone through all, the targets, we're interested in, such as we've been interested in other defensive targets as well, such as Milan Skriniar, Harry Maguire. We're linked with him last summer as well. Toby Alderweireld. There's been talks the other week about Jadon Sancho, as I've already, explained to you about Jadon Sancho, and he's only, 18 years of age, is Jadon Sancho. Very, very good player, only 18, mainly a winger, as I said, Jadon Sancho. But as I said, it will cost Man United around £90-100 million, to probably get Jadon Sancho to come to Old Trafford in the summer. Of course, he's English as well, but since he's been in the Dortmund first team, reportedly his performances have been very, very impressive indeed, of Jadon Sancho's. And obviously he's had experience of playing in the Premier League in the past because he had a couple of years with City. He never broke into the first team with City, but he played for Manchester City. I think he joined. Did he join Manchester City? I think he joined Manchester City at the age of just 14 years of age. He used to play for Watford as well. He was actually playing, he played for Watford in his youth career as well. I think he joined Watford at the age of 7. And I did currently say, he had quite a lot of years, with Watford in their youth system. And City, I think he joined Manchester City at the age of 14, and he had a good, he had 2 years, with Man City. He's been at Borussia Dortmund now a couple of years. Borussia Dortmund, I think, paid £7-8 million for him from Manchester City. But since he's broken into the first team with Dortmund, reportedly, his performances have been very, very good indeed. He's got a contract with Dortmund until 2022 as well. But he won't come cheap in the summer, Jadon Sancho. So his name has also been mentioned as well. So yeah, that's mainly everything to update today. So the main part of this video is to give you an update that Jesse Lingard has obviously got a hamstring injury. Anthony Martial has got a groin injury. It's both muscular problems they've both got. They're going to be out for up to 2 to 3 weeks, with injury, which is going to be a big, big concern, as I currently said. But Solskjaer still remains calm. He still remains confident. He still remains, that we can bounce back, from that Paris Saint-Germain defeat on Tuesday night. And we are capable of beating Chelsea because they're not a great side at the moment. They've got problems of their own as well. But at home, it's very, very hard to go to Stamford Bridge, and get a win. And even if we get a draw, we can take them to Old Trafford, and beat them in the replay, that would be very, very good indeed. But you can see that, there won't be as much pace in the team, on Monday against Chelsea, because obviously Lingard, who can press out the pitch, who's got pace, Martial, who can press out the pitch, who's got pace, are both currently out. So it's going to be interesting to see, who he goes with in that attacking line, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said. But we are still on course, as I said. I still really am confident that we can finish in the top 4 this season, which is very, very essential for us. But definitely Solskjaer is favoured to get the job on a full-time basis at Manchester United, as I said. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless you.